What's up guys, Saf here on SuperSaf TV, and in this video we're going to be talking about the Huawei P40 Pro Plus. Thanks to Huawei for partnering with me on this video. I've put my SIM card in here and I really wanted to see what is it like using this on the day-to-day. Now before we start, I wanted to clear up some misconceptions. There's been a lot of talk and news around the recent 5G ban, and a few of you guys have been asking me, how does this affect devices like the Huawei P40 Pro Plus? And to put it short, it doesn't really affect these devices. The British government has also been very clear on this, that the 5G decision is purely related to Huawei's equipment in the UK's telecoms network. It does not apply to your home devices such as smartphones, laptops, and tablets. So to answer the question, the Huawei P40 Pro Plus, as well as other Huawei devices, will work absolutely fine on 5G networks where they are available. You have to remember that Huawei is a big company and has lots of different divisions. One of those is the networking side of things, which unfortunately has been affected, and the other is devices, which has not. Right, so now that that's cleared, let's go back to the P40 Pro Plus. You'll see that it does look a lot like the P40 Pro, and that is because it shares a lot of the same DNA. But there are really four key differences in the cameras, charging, the build, as well as the storage. We'll be touching on all of these. So initially talking of the build, this is one of the most premium devices I've tested, and that's thanks to this ceramic back instead of the glass that we had on the P40 Pro. And this firstly gives it a bit more weight, so it does feel a lot more premium, but also it makes it more durable. I've been using this without a case and it's been absolutely fine. I really like the white because it doesn't attract as many fingerprints as other colors may. But from the front, the P40 Pro Plus looks just like the P40 Pro. So we've got a 6.58-inch OLED display with a 90 Hz refresh rate. Now, I do like this display. I really don't mind that punch out because the front-facing cameras are really good. I've been on record to say that the P40 Pro and the P40 Pro Plus have some of my favorite selfie cameras, and that is thanks to that depth sensor, which really does isolate yourself from the background and gives you some very crisp results. And that punch out also has facial recognition sensors, which give you proper facial unlock, but there's also an in-display fingerprint scanner, which is very fast as well. So it's nice to have those two secure options. We've seen lots of other smartphones which actually just use the front-facing camera. That's not as secure for facial unlock. It's nice that we've got dedicated sensors here. So I really do not mind that punch out. Now, one thing that I would have liked is a 120 Hz refresh rate. So 90 Hz is really nice and smooth. 120 Hz would have been nice. But what you do have on the P40 Pro Plus is a more stable 90 Hz across the board. It doesn't have to change resolution. You can just stick to the same resolution across the board. And there's also a big advantage, and that is with battery life. The battery life on the P40 Pro Plus, as it was on the P40 Pro, is really good. I can get through the day absolutely fine. I'm easily getting 6-7 hours of screen on time, and I really don't think you'll have a problem with battery life on the P40 Pro Plus. Now, in addition to that, we also have some improvements for charging. So although we do have the same 40-watt charge that comes out of the box, we do get support for 40-watt wireless charging. This is the fastest charging wirelessly that's available in the market right now. We've heard of some upcoming technologies, but right now, if you want the fastest wireless charging, it is going to be here on the P40 Pro Plus. You will have to buy a separate wireless charger for this to work, so just do bear that in mind, because to be able to output that level of power, you need a special charger with some fans to keep it cool and everything. But having that charger has been a great experience because I'm somebody who really appreciates wireless charging, and being able to just drop my phone on that wireless charger and have it charge very quickly is very convenient. Now let's talk about the cameras, and this is one of the reasons why you'll be considering the P40 Pro Plus. Although we've got the same primary 50 megapixel RYYB sensor as the P40 Pro, as well as the same ultra wide camera and time of flight sensor, I've covered those cameras in lots of detail in my camera deep dive, so I'll link that in the cards and in the description. But in addition to that, you do get two zoom cameras, and I believe this is the first smartphone in the world with two separate dedicated zoom cameras. you've got a 3x telephoto. This is going to be useful for your day-to-day where you just want to get in a little bit closer. But then you have the 10x Optical Super Periscope Telephoto Zoom. I think I've said that right. It's a long name. Essentially, this is going to give you 10x optical zoom, which is the highest level of zoom in the market right now. And at 10x, this gives you the best results. I've done lots of tests with this, and it is very useful to getting closer to certain situations. Maybe you want to take some pictures of some wildlife where going in closer is going to ruin the shot. Well, the 10x zoom gives you some great results. Now, digitally, you can get further. You can go 50 times. You can even go 100 times. I'm personally not a fan of going to those levels of zoom because then you are going digital, not optical. It's there if you want to use it. I personally don't, and I like that Huawei haven't plastered this all of the cameras. At 10x, this gives you some amazing results, the best in the industry. Now, another thing that you get on the P40 Pro Plus compared to the P40 Pro is 512 gigabytes of storage compared to 256. In addition to that, you also have the ability of adding a nano memory card, so that will also allow you to expand that already very large 512 gigabytes of storage. Now, speaking of performance, this is powered by the Kirin 990 5G chipset. So as mentioned, 5G is supported across the board, and the 990 is a very capable chipset. So in terms of daily use and performance, this has been absolutely fine. You do also get 8 gigabytes of RAM, which works really well with the Kirin 990. But let's talk about the software situation. So as you guys may already be aware, unfortunately, Google Play services are not supported on the P40 Pro Plus. So what has that been like using this on the day-to-day? It's been different. So if you're coming from another device, maybe an older Huawei device, you of course had full support for Google Play services. How does that impact on the day-to-day? Well, the good news is the Huawei App Gallery has now developed even further. We've got many new apps which we didn't have when I covered the P40 Pro, such as Sky Go, as well as the Premier League app, which allowed me to witness my home team, Leicester City, lose out on the Champions League by one game. One game. Anyway, it's nice to see lots of new apps coming on to the Huawei App Gallery, but there are still some that are not here. However, there are ways to get lots of those apps onto the P40 Pro Plus, which are very easy. One of those is the phone clone app. So that's kind of the easiest. As soon as you get the P40 Pro Plus, you can just get your old device and transfer over all of the apps that are compatible, including all of your images and videos. But a new feature that Huawei have introduced, which I found very useful, is Petal Search. Petal Search allows you to find apps that are currently not available on the Huawei App Gallery. And it's not going to just find any old APK, it's going to find official APKs which have been authorized and will be completely secure. So to give you an example, right now at this point in time, WhatsApp is not available on the Huawei App Gallery. And obviously WhatsApp is something which pretty much everybody uses. So if we just tap on the search bar and type in WhatsApp Messenger, it's going to pop up right here, and then we can go ahead and download and install it right away. So really quick and easy to get some of those apps. Now you might be wondering, Saf, how do you have the YouTube icon on the home screen when it's not actually supported? Well, this is actually a browser shortcut. What you have to remember that although Google Play services are not supported, all of the Google services that you are used to using, you will still be able to access via the browser as you would be able to on, say, a computer or anything else. And what I've done here is I've assigned a shortcut to the YouTube homepage, and when I tap on here, it just takes me over straight onto YouTube and I can start watching videos. Now, one of the things that I did miss being a YouTube Premium member is the ability to have background play. But if you are somebody who doesn't really use that and is not somebody that's on YouTube Premium, then it's something that you really won't miss. So yes, there are a few workarounds that you need to set up initially when you get the device, but after that, on the day-to-day, I really think it's totally usable. So if you are interested in the Huawei P40 Pro Plus, hopefully this video has kind of cleared up some of the misconceptions that you may have had. I do think this is going to be fine on the day-to-day, especially if you want to take advantage of those amazing cameras. I'll leave some links down in the description below to the Huawei P40 Pro Plus as well as the Huawei P40 Pro. What do you guys think of these devices? Definitely drop me a comment below and let me know your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, then do hit that thumbs up button for me. And if you haven't already and you want to see more content like this, then be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you don't miss any of it. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on SuperSaf TV, and I'll see you next time.